We did say yesterday this is a team that we feel maybe could be exploited if they are like the team who is prepping going into like playoffs versus other teams who are prepping, right? So now we kind of get to see a little bit of that as all their preparation has just been for Snake today.
And you'd have to expect that they are mostly prepared for a matchup against Snake. We've seen very defined positives and very defined negatives towards this team, just as much as IG has of themselves. And really, if you're only preparing for one team, it's pretty simple to take out Snake. You just cut them off in the mid game and they don't know what to do.
Yeah, but the scary thing is which iteration of Snake are you preparing
Positives
for?
and
Like,
very
I agree
defined
that
negatives towards
they kind
this
of
team.
both have the same problems: a weak mid game, poor late game decision making. Although one iteration of Snake is significantly better at that, and it's the iteration with tanks starting in the mid lane. Unfortunately for Snake fans, Zatai is starting today. So hopefully, you know, they've been in the background screaming it out, finding some sort of problem, and OQ and Zatai come back stronger than ever. But the last time that we saw them, it didn't look great on the Rift.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have insight into Snake's preparation, right? But we did see them against RNG earlier in the week, and it was RNG toying with Snake. They moved in tank, they moved in Zatai, zero effect. So I want to say that if I'm Snake, I was fully preparing for the game that we can look to win this week, which would be IG, which is very important, as I may also play later today, and they are vying over that spot. So important for them to win this game. I want to see all that preparation come here. I want to see that from Pixelband. I want to see it from the very start.
Yeah, the battle for 4th place heats up if Snake do actually get anything in this series at all. Not just a map win, but the whole set win makes Imei's life incredibly difficult pushing towards that last spot. And you would imagine that Snake are prepared quite heavily for this one. Against RNG, you just take it as it comes. Perhaps you can get a cheeky win on them, and that's fantastic, but this one's far more valuable.
And on the other side of that, you know, even if we're just looking at that 4th place race between IMA and Snake, there's also that 3rd and 2nd place race between OMG and IG, with OMG kind of throwing down the gauntlet to IG and taking down RNG, guaranteeing their spot in playoffs. Their seed still isn't locked. And it's a weighted gauntlet. So the difference between 3rd and 4th is still massive. Like, that's a whole nother best of 5 that you have to go through to get closer to that final spot.
Yeah, very big for the teams. As we head into today's games, though, specifically with IG and Snake, do you still weight it to IG just because of past performances? Because Snake have still looked
Questionable?
yeah, questionable is the right word.
I think you have to weight it towards IG in most instances, just from the players that they have flanking their team. Their bottom lane looks a lot better and very much self-sustaining by themselves. You've got strong laners in Duke and Rookie, and then Kid's just a pivot point between both top and mid, between Duke and Rookie. Like, there's not many places that he can make a mistake when he's got the safe hands around him. So when you look at IG, you contrast that to Snake. SOFM's always running into a risky predicament. His lanes aren't always going to be winning. IG have a much better advantage through their jungle, which means their early game's good, which is where Snake are meant to be strong. So, like, as an actual style matchup, I would say that IG come into this with the favorable advantage.
And they've really clear-cut win conditions. You know, this is the Duke and Rookie backpack. Just pull all your arms into the roller coaster at all times, buckle up, and just hang on for the ride. And Rookie and Duke will do all of the hard lifting for you. You just need to be that supportive staff. Whereas Snake, I don't even think they know what their win conditions are. The fact that they keep changing their roster up, you know, week after week, that they keep trying to attack at different iterations of the game. Are we an early game team? Do we 5v5? Are we about trading? Are we about the jungler? Maybe the mid lane? It's just so less clear.
The problems have arisen though for IG when specifically Kid has been picking up the kills. It's almost like a bad omen when he gets the first 2 kills because he's like, it's not even a flip-flop, it's like a 10-90 on whether he carries the game by himself, but he is looking to facilitate those laners, as you said, Frascurin, Duke, Kid, and Rookie, those the kind of trifecta up there. Meanwhile, Margin Megan in that bottom lane still.
There has been games, though, where Kid looks fantastic if he does get the lead through jungling specifically. So when they played against Ime, he invaded flawless and hard carried the game pretty much by himself.
But that's the 10 I'm referring to. Maybe he increases that percentage, Rusty, and he has a chance to do that today. But he's facing down Snakes, Flandry in the top lane, SOFM, Zatai, OQ, and Crystal.
And while I agree with you, Rusty, like, stylistically this is a pretty interesting matchup, theoretically, Snake should be able to match where IG are strong. You have 2 good mid laners between Rookie and Zatai, you have SOFM, who clearly should outclass Kid, and you have Flandre, who's actually performing against Duke. It's just unfortunate that none of those pieces are working together as well as Duke, Rookie, and Kid are.
Yeah, similar questions for both teams though, as we head into this one, but still IG have the slight advantage, maybe just slightly outclassing those lanes as well, especially when you look towards Duke. Flandre has been his own worst enemy, I would say, and that's been getting progressively worse. As the split has gone on, we did question him at the same time when we were questioning SOFM when he had his whole moving to support ordeal. But Flandre's teleports have getting slower and slower, and I don't know what's going on with him.
And that's why the one-time Snake looked fantastic. Flandre was playing Gangplank. You don't need to teleport, then you can just use your R key and everything's going to be right as rain. However, yeah, he's definitely one of the features of this team that can also be exposed quite simply. When you add Zatai and Okyu to this mix, I look at this Snake roster and I say it's not the same iteration that'll be able to keep up with IG. If you expect Snake to do well in laning phase, that's fine. It's harder to do now though, because they're missing their team fighting strength.
That feel when the most consistent member of your team is Crystal in support.
SOFM is returning to form. I will say that.
Returning to form. I still wouldn't say he's as consistent as Crystal.
His early game, though, is pretty mint, like, to make a pun. It's just about converting that early game that SOFM sets you up towards that mid game. And the Band-Aid previously was having someone like Tank on the roster who seemed to be the one guy that's like, okay, guys, stop messing around. We're making the play right now. Without Tank, you have Zatai, so the possibility of playing side lanes opens up a lot more for Snake, but that's so much harder to execute on.
It opens up a different can of worms for Snake and for Invictus Gaming to deal with, right? Rookie has been playing his fair share of assassins. He's very capable on literally any mid lane champion under the sun, so he can pick that into Zatai perfectly fine. It's just that Tank likes to play a Lissandra where he will side lane, but then he'll teleport in, whereas Zatai just stays there.
The scary thing for me, though, specifically with Rookie, is the popularity of Taliyah and the importance of Taliyah right now for the LPL. And Rookie is like the OG Taliyah player. He was the first guy to bring it into the LPL. He was the first guy to perfect it. And we've seen Taliyah's running rampant across the Rift.
It's true. We need to see that evolution from him, though, because while he was the first to bring it, he was also the first to lose with it. So
a lot.
A lot. Right?
My favorite one is when he rode the Weaver's Wall into 3 people, jumped off, and died. Like, Rookie.
Yeah, you got him. Because I know he did very specific things with his Runes of Masteries compared to the other players of Taliyah. But he was the OG, so he's had more time with it, technically, quote-unquote.
That was Xiao Xiao and PDD on the caster desk.
This is an April Fool's? What the heck?
Nope, they were announced to come back and cast League of Legends again with the LPL.
That's pretty cool. Well, you're stuck with us, unfortunately. And we'll be moving into IG and Snake now. 7 and 6 for IG and 5 and 8 for Snake, but it means more for Aime, who will be playing later today against the LPL punching bag LGD. And bans coming in here, so it will be Lee Sin, Graves, and Camille, so double jungle bans from IG towards SOFM. And Gragas and Jace as well will also slightly hit that jungle pool from Gid.
And we're yet to see many teams at all actually get rid of Lulu, which I still think we will start seeing eventually. And it's simply because Karma crops up. So the one time you do see Lulu bans is when Karma is the highest priority. Right now, everybody's just banning junglers, and it makes a lot of sense, especially for IG, to take them away from the star player that is SOFM.
Rangel will round out the bans there from Snake, and Camille will be the final one from IG. That means on the side of Invictus Gaming, they will priority pick the Elise for Kid. Meanwhile, Ashe insta-locked for Snake to OQ.
Yeah, and you'd expect the Lulu with it. Ashe Lulu is a very potent lane, especially with Blade of the Wrong King users, just Lulu in general, and Ashe is going to be one of those. What I'm curious about here is that Snake banned Rengar so that Kid can't have it, and then they pick the Elise on the side of IG. Now that's expected, which is why I was wondering where they would go with their actual draft here. They didn't need to go Kha'Zix, but they don't want to reveal anything yet.
Yeah, Kha'Zix comes in here, so both junglers locked in.
And that's okay, you can pick Kha'Zix, but I would have picked it third. Because right now, IG have the choice of supports, whatever they would prefer to have. I know that Nami's being picked as a high priority, but Lulu, we already mentioned, this still exists.
Yeah. Well, there's the ADC, so it's still not a far cry or a far shot from us seeing a support pickup here. And the hover is indeed Lulu, which does work with Lucian.
Yep. This is very much expected. At least a support to be picked that they would very much prefer for themselves. We have seen mid laners locked in third here and there with certain sparing teams, but it's Rookie, and IG would not do that.
Yeah. And now to Snake, if they do want to support, the pool is going to be hit. But there are multiple picks that do well into Lulu that are still available, though they may want to prioritize a pick like Karma right now before IG starts to look towards that pool. And in fact, they are saying hello to Nami, who will be locked in for Crystal.
Yep, so Nami again taking the sustain route instead of matching perhaps the pushing and the damage that can come out of them. Lucian's not the biggest pushing champion. Lulu will be the one that compensates for that quite well, and Ashe will be able to match the Lulu's pushing anyway. So supports were the biggest deal there, and you would say the trading from Snake in the 2v2 will be reasonably equal. So they're okay down there in the bottom lane. Jungle matchup is slightly Elise favored if she gets the jump, because the Spiderlings prevent isolated damage naturally as we move into the second ban phase, or lack thereof.
Indeed.
I mean, you guys suck at banning today.
And Snake, no ban apparently from them. Over to Invictus Gaming now. Let's see what they'll look towards. So it has been bot lane and jungle, so it is those solo lanes that IG want to target. Rumble is the ban out towards top lane from Flandre, and now back over to Snake.
Yeah, so banning away the Rumble. There are still a lot of champions up there for Flandre to play, but Rumble's just the best all-rounder that does extremely well into tanks above all else, which you would expect Duke may be looking towards then. However, he is a fantastic split push and carry champion player.
He is, and no doubt IG will put him on Maokai again. Next ban was Orianna from Snake towards Rookie, and then the final ban now from IG. It will be Kennen towards Flandre, so they are really setting up Duke for success.
And maybe they are thinking about the gangplank as something that Flandre will be playing, and they're looking to pick into that accordingly. But, you know, by banning away Rumble and Kennen and leaving open a champion like a Fizz, you still run into some troubles.
A Fizz was basically locked in as soon as the Ignite and Teleport was locked in by Flandre. He was like, yeah, just give me the Fizz. I'll take that one to the bank. And IG now will have to figure out what they want to pick up against it, as both of these picks will come in this rotation on blue side.
You can't pick the Gragas into it. The Maokai loses trades heavily. Nautilus is your best bet for tanks in the top lane. Shen also makes sense with the W. You can actually time the windows for trading well.
Yeah, Shen does work. And Duke is also able to trade against those split pushers, so it does make a lot of sense here. Now IG, next pick will be their mid laner for Rookie. And he doesn't get the kind of pick, unfortunately, but there's the Talia that we were all considering could be a pick for him, as he was the first one to pick it in the LPL.
Yep, Frosco mentioned it. Not a surprise that he locks that one in. We didn't even talk about what Rookie was going to pick mid, because you'd expect it's Talia now, unless they see a Talia on the enemy team, and he may well pick a Talon or something like that into it. As we look for a counter pick for Zatai, remember, he's a very good assassin-style player. So LeBlanc, Talon, Ahri is an example that works in a similar way, that can deal with not only just the Talia's potential damage, you can dodge the seismic shove, and you can try and keep up with wave clear.
And out of those three, it will be Ahri in the end to Zatai to face down Rookie's Talia. So we have the full compositions now. It will be Fizz in that top lane, Kha'Zix, Ahri, Ashe and Nami over to Snake here.
There is a big thing that you have to look at with Snake, and that is their amount of single target damage that they will have. And the funny thing about all of that is it's single target, but it's a very convoluted statement to describe it, because the Fizzfish can hit multiple people, Kha'Zix can burst someone, but he can also hit AoE. And Ahri's charm will hit one person, but everything else can potentially find multiple people as well. So it's an interesting team composition, actually, that comes out of Snake. It is pick-focused and very much trying to find vision into picks, heavy type of team comp. But they can absolutely dismantle you if they have a numbers advantage afterwards with a subsequent team fight.
Yeah, on the opposite side, we've got these kind of semi-globals paired with actual globals, Shen and Talia. So you expect to see a lot of roaming around the map as soon as those solo laners do hit those level 6 marks and look to kind of propel themselves ahead in these skirmishes. So yeah, it just looks like post 6 we're in a skirmish heavy game here, Rusty.
Yeah, absolutely. The second Lulu and Lucian are unlocked to do anything as well, there's a chance that they just start running rampant. Not a lot's going to be able to kill that Lucian with a Shen protecting him from the sides as well. So you're right, level 6 will be a very big deal. But before level 6, you actually have to look towards the Elise. Like, can they get that gank off? Can she outpath the Kha'Zix? It's SOFM, so for Kid to be able to do that requires nothing short of some pre-planning, forethought, all put into one word apparently.
As soon as you said 4, I was like, where's he going with this? Okay. 4 planning, that works for me. We're taking the big yawn right now. Victor's gaming
It's
a
hard
very,
work being a
very
pro
chilled
player.
out. All right.
Placid.
Placid?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
reserved.
I couldn't tell if you said F or P, so. And
It was the letter P, false.
Snake look a little bit more focused. I mean, IG do have that like 1-2 game buffer between them, so.
Yeah, IG are pretty much set. They want to beat out Snake now to kind of cement their position towards the top of the playoffs rankings. The higher up you are, the better. As you can see, a PDD sign. It's very rare you actually see casters getting signs, but he's also a famous owner of a team and above all else, a former pro player.
And also, yeah, just kind of famous in his own right.
Yeah.
Everyone knows PDD. He's up there casting today. But this is one time in the sunshine. After this, it's just you're just a caster now. So these signs are for the players. We have the full compositions once more on your screen as we head onto the rift for IG and Snake, looking to fire back after their disappointing performance earlier in the week, but cannot say too much when they were facing down the top of the table. RNG and IG, let's see if their preparation has paid off, as this is the only game that they had to prepare for in week 9.
Yeah, absolutely right. So the ball is in IG's court. Are they actually able to get the jump early? The draft doesn't indicate that they've done anything flashy. There's nothing crazy about it. And right now you do look towards that level 1 once again, and what can they get done? From the looks of it, IG were considering a blue buff start, which is very different. You know, most of the time teams will go towards their Raptors, move that around and try and get the extra level 3. So maybe Duke's just going to take some damage and feign that it's a blue start after all.
Or maybe he'll take it.
I actually don't know if he'd be able to take a blue buff, even though he's tanky.
You get extra damage against monsters with Shen's Q. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Most people don't know that because you don't see Shen jungle, but you do get it, so it is possible.
Now, SOFM is doing this solo. That's a bit mean from Flandre. I don't know if I agree with that.
Where's the Q? Where's an Orb of Deception?
That means that he's going to be quite low. You can already see.
Yeah, man.
Bit under half. Red buff does a lot of damage, so he has to immediately use those potions. He may have to smite the red buff now as a result of the damage that it'll do. Means there'll be no invades if he does actually smite that buff.
Is that just a matter of trying to hide where SOFM is starting from the side of Snake? Because I don't see any other reason why you wouldn't at least throw a Q in there if you're Ari.
Yeah, absolutely. Ari throwing the Q would be seen by Rookie. Not just that, if Flandre comes to lane missing health, then it could indicate where he started. So there's a chance they're trying to hide SOFM's jungle pathing, but he's doing a standard clear, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference at all. Because right now both junglers just doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, SOFM of course just behind a couple hundred HP, just because of his initial start.
I think the biggest difference is actually going to be when they recall and when they gank. Never mind. Vision has been spotted. That was very good from Flandre.
Yeah.
What we expect now, though, is Kid can do his Scuttle Crab. He can then choose to either recall or gank, but he's got the Raptors still up. He did Wolves, whereas SOFM did Raptors and wants to stay bottom side. And that's the point that I'm trying to get to. They want to be both bottom side. They're both looking towards this area, and they're going to meet each other.
Yeah, SOFM's onto this camp, but he knew Kid was jumping away.
Ooh, man.
Cocoon was literally inches away. But SOFM will get out, and it's a flash down for Kids. So very good for SOFM to start off the game, knowing that Elise does not have that summoner now. Meanwhile, Crystal getting blasted by Marge. She's going to have to flash away. OQ even had to burn the heal off the back of that.
So that was good from IG because they had the smallest of windows to fight the Nami. They can't chase and look for a kill simply because there is a million minions now about to crash onto their turret. So IG with a disadvantage in the bottom lane, play around that nicely enough to get 3 summoner spells out of the bottom lane of Snake, which unlocks Kid to gank, which is, as you can see, immediately wards have to be placed down to prevent that. However, the mid lane of IG is pushing, which is why you can't see SOFM just freely go in and invade the Raptors like he wanted to do, and it's also why I dislike that he chose to invade there. He should have just went to his Wolves, set the tempo up a bit better for himself with gold income, and then come back and gank towards top side, which is what Kid's doing.
Yeah. Well, we know that SOFM has a bizarre obsession
He does.
with those Raptors.
Man loves his chicken.
It is a raptor fetish, I guess. And top lane, Duke was looking to set up that gank with Kid, but it is Fizz at the end of the day, so if he doesn't use E, you're not going to get that gank to happen. And even then, he is a slippery fish with Urchin Strike. Bot lane is still trading away, but it is mostly even. There is a slight CS advantage to OQ. We're looking towards this mid lane now, where SOFM is setting up in his side bush. The spells have been used by Rookie, but he's going to kite down. A flash, an instant cleanse out from Rookie, plus the flash will get him out of dodge.
And you have to wonder if Zatai was aware that he had cleanse or not, as top lane's trading pretty heavily. Shouldn't be a kill.
Duke is handing it to Flandre, though.
Kid's also level 3, so he's super far behind. This gank is more time spent and wasted, as meanwhile, bottom.
Let's see how clean this is from SOFM and the rest of Snake. Mar just dropping low, needs one more auto attack. He finds one in return. It's a 1 for 2 in the end, over to Snake.
You can't complain from the Lucian there, being able to pick up a kill. Did have to blow Summoner's. Kid still does not know the meaning of getting experience in doing camps, wasting more time. Whereas SOFM's getting things done on the flip side of the map, so well done from Snake. Upsetting the balance, utilizing a winning lane to garner a bigger advantage around their jungler.
Nice heads up ward there from Flandre. Will spot out Kid. He will not get the entirety of this camp, and that was maybe 60 gold down the drain. The fact that he didn't finish that. We're looking towards mid lane now as Rookie under attack. He's got no summoners. Flash from SOFM, unseen threat, and the rest of these auto attacks should be enough to finish him off. Kid will find him, but the combo is not going to happen. He's also out of mana, and swapping to Spider Form would not be advised. So another kill to Snake. Third one of the game, this time to SOFM.
And you can see what Rookie is thinking. There's no way that a Kha'Zix who just lost all of his health down bot lane is going to come mid and gank me, especially when I've just sent Ahri to base. So he uses all of his mana to actually clear the minion wave, but that's the opposite of what he should have done because he had no summoner spells. The gank opportunity was definitely present for SOFM, and he's an opportunistic guy. He does the unexpected and may not have been expected, but it works. And so he kills Rookie.
This is just one of those games, man, where SOFM gets the early kills, and it's one of the ones where he can just pop off and just win the game for Snake pretty much by himself, as long as the rest of the team transition to the mid game with him, basically carrying on to his, or holding on his coattails at this point in the game. But Kid, he's behind. He kind of went for the risky play of continuously looking for ganks. Curiously enough, onto Flandre, who is on Fizz, who is notorious as a champion to be almost impossible to gank.
Yeah.
And Kid is level 4 right now when his solo lane is a 6, so this is not a great situation to be in.
And SOFM may actually tick over 2-6 after doing the red buff just because he has 2 kills to his name. Maybe Raptors in red and 6, but if I was him, I'd be looking mid and top lane 100%. Yes, bottom lane is winning, but just let them set up vision. Just work around them throwing an arrow to another lane because the Fizz ulti, the Ahri damage, most importantly coming out of their top and mid laners, you can snowball more than one lane at once in a single game, and that's when you just outright win on Summoner's Rift all at the same time.
And SOFM has just dinged 6. Let's see if he evolved W. Indeed he has. Makes sense with having a Fizz and an Ahri. You want to slow down those isolated targets and pick them off. SOFM is well and truly onto this blue buff. Assist ping went down.
Kid knows.
I think this is already over to SOFM. An auto attack and the smite, and it's gone.
Yeah, so he gets the blue buff. Of course, Zatai will be able to go over and collect his own. As look at all of the control wards placed on the bottom side of the map. SOFM not playing to the side that has vision, but playing to the lanes that can also rotate immediately and help him out. That's some good damage.
Well played to Rookie. That was way more damage onto Zatai than I think he was expecting from the last like 2-3 shots that found his character.
And look what happens as a trade to this. Zatai did the right thing trying to clear the wave, but loses all of his health in a trade. All of the control wards are now dead. The blue buff is open on SOFM's side of the jungle to perhaps invade towards, but because the bottom lane of IG is losing, that becomes harder as hello.
Nice trade from Duke. At the end of the day, it is Fizz. Difficult to kill.
I can't believe they didn't invade the blue buff as well. Forcing the Ahri back to base was perfectly fine of them. They're just playing so cautiously here. Kid, I guess, acknowledging that he's not just behind, he is too far behind to even look at a 1v1. 1v2 sounds like it's too risky for him, I suppose.
I mean, partially true, but he was also looking for a bot lane gank there, Rusty, and was only stopped because there was a control ward that he had to clear out. So I feel, honestly, Kid is just making bad decisions at every step of the flowchart.
It's moreover that he's just not making them. He's hardly making decisions. He's just looking around on Summoner's Rift. You know, I don't have a camp to clear. I wonder where I can go. Let's try bottom. Not, I am going to go bottom a minute from now. Do you have vision set up? If the answer is no, can I still do it?
So I think he's making decisions, but he's not planning ahead. I think that's the way to put it.
Yeah.
He's very much being impulsive with those decisions. Now he's back into his jungle. He is finally level 6. He's finally gotten it, but SOFM, he's been level 7 for a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets towards that level 8
but
very
not
shortly.
even just levels now, Pulse. The difference in items between Kid and SOFM, one has a completed jungle item and boots. Kid has got boots 1, but he's not even close to finishing. He has nothing, no gold. And this is a real concern when you play against Snake. Not just for Kid, but for everybody against Snake.
He's even gone for the Hunter's Potion. SOFM just passing through. Just saying hi to Rookie. It's a reminder that I am in this game, and I'm rather fed. There's a drone coming across from OQ. Kid is going to try and contest his Raptors here. Crystal's also come up, but as has Megan, so it is a 2 versus 2 in the jungle. A big battle over these Raptors. Theoretically, SOFM does have the advantage being level 8.
This is like Snake's version of a Baron buff.
Another flash comes out, and all the damage from Rookie, and just like that, SOFM is down.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Sometimes you just gotta know when to quit. And at this stage, SOFM just does not know that it was time to call it quits. As the Cocoon doesn't actually hit there. Rookie uses Flash, uses Cleanse, has to get over the wall to get the kill. But what is SOFM thinking? Of course they're there.
Rusty, it's just that obsession over the Raptors once again. Every single time.
It's like making a reservation at a restaurant and being surprised that they know you're coming.
Pretty much. I honestly just don't understand. SOFM just needs to forget that those exist. Crystal trading off with Marge. That's going to be a large amount of damage from Culling, yeah. OQ had to use the ultimate to keep Crystal alive there.
Crystal thinking that he's an AD carry or something and that he does damage. Marge, though, that was very clever.
Yeah.
You'll notice that because the bubble hadn't been used, it was the only remaining spell Crystal had left. And if you dodge that, straight up, you can kill it.
What was that thing that they told Kiwi Kid and Cutie Pie when they used to play together? That like champions didn't exist, only hit towers? That's what they need to do for SOFM. Just pretend that the Raptor camp doesn't exist in Summoner's Rift.
Only when it's your Raptors and there's no one else nearby.
Not even, man. Just forget about it. SOFM will get out. Again, Kid will use his flash for it. But with the way that SOFM plays, it's worth just throwing a flash out and seeing if you catch him, because if you do, it's a kill.
The problem is Raptors are just so good as well, Pauls. If we tell him that they don't exist, I don't know what he'll do with himself. He actually lives for Raptors.
Yeah, but think of the gold that he's giving up versus the gold that you gain from the Raptors. Ah. Ooh, gotcha.
Oh, got
you again. That's 4 out of...
Why are we playing cat and mouse at
5 out
leave?
of 11.
That's just
Get
sad.
out of there. I mean, Threaded Volley does a lot of damage.
And Rookie's just a god of Talia, so this is always going to be a concern for Snake. SOFM had all of the momentum, and then he gets caught out of position. Suddenly, Kid's still fine. Mid lane has an extra assist. Rookie has momentum. He has the tempo of the lane with wave control still. And the Ahri, much more of an assassin player, wants to get the completed item, maybe 2, and then disappear to a side lane. But it's a Morello's rush. He's looking for the mana sustain because he needs to keep up with Rookie.
How's Rookie doing? I feel like he hasn't been back in a while.
But he definitely hasn't.
Yeah. Should be able to at least finish the Morellonomicon there.
Oh, actually, he's got boots of Swifties.
I was looking at that, but the fact that Zatai just picked up boots and then 2 control wards, and he's an assist down and like a wave, tells me that Rookie should be able to at least finish it.
If he goes back now or if he does Raptors, we'll find out.
Gonna say yes.
There you go.
Riddle has been solved. How's bot lane doing? That's a pretty big farm advantage to OQ. About 25 CS. Top lane SOFM was just poking his head in top lane. Honestly, not a huge amount is gonna happen at this point in time once Duke has his small items.
Yeah, he's hit the point where it's very rare that he'll actually die anymore. But Flandre, even with the Ignite, still has a slight edge in the laning phase. especially when he's going towards the Iceborne Gauntlet build that it seems we're getting from him. Look, that may well be a Sunfire, but we'll have to find out.
I mean, he has a component from 3 different items, so we'll get to see in a second. It is just a pick and mix at the moment. And a quick Orb of Deception will pick up blue buff. So for now, we're just probably waiting on like on people grouping up and getting into skirmishes.
We mentioned, level 6 is a pretty big strong point for the teams involved in this game with the Shen to Leah combo, also having the Lulu Lucian. Keeping up in the bottom lane when it started poorly is going to help IG. But right now, it is going to be calm and collected. Everybody's starting to rush boots out from the side of IG. So it could be a Drake fight. They could actually try and turn up the tempo. Try and force Snake to rotate and run to them.
Regardless, it will be a very late dragon. Just 15 minutes. At the time of 15 minutes, we haven't had a single dragon just yet. SOFM trying to clear out this brush. He didn't think there was anyone there. He didn't hit Megan, but now he's chasing after the poor Yordle. It'll turn around, and if any CC lands, SOFM is very strong, but he's not particularly tanky. As a result, he has gone towards the Merc Treads and Null Magic. It will just be everyone backing off for now. But you can see Snake have completely gained control over the area of Dragon in terms of vision. So they will be the first team to the punch if Dragon becomes an opportunity.
Speaking of opportunities, SOFM
darting through both Marge and Megan. Doesn't land, but again, worth throwing out their skill shot just in case it lands.
Because he has so much MR, he's just walking into places, even if the cocoon hits.
Well, he'll actually just jump on top of Kid, take most of its HP away, and I'm not sure he'll get away from this. Has to use the Wild Growth as Zatai and Rookie find their way in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, Zatai still has his ultimate, so there's still kill threaders. Speaking of, they're just fighting.
Yeah, Marge just gets a full channel of his ultimate down onto Crystal once again. He is definitely within kill range, but he's playing it safe and has ebb and flow as well, so...
SOFM's still here.
He's okay, and SOFM really wants to kill somebody.
He's playing the put your face into it approach of League of Legends right now, as I'm a magic resistance tank. Elise is the magic damage on their team. So if I face check that brush and find Elise, I don't actually care. So that's what he's doing. Just legitimately running around, just walking into bushes, seeing what he sees.
Not again, SOFM. This was a good cocoon this time, but jumps over the wall and he's fine.
Exhibit A. You'll notice the SOFM without vision just face checks and almost dies again. But it works.
They're trying to brute force this tower down, and with the help of Zatai, they should be able to do it. These skill shots are very, very close to hitting their mark. Again, cocoon goes wide, and Rookie is now into this bottom lane. This is the most prolonged siege I've ever seen. On this next wave, surely we can kill this tower, and I think that has been acknowledged by IG at this stage. First tower, gold secured by Snake.
Yeah, they definitely just go back to base, IG. No point contesting it. If they wanted to, they would have kept Rookie down there. But now Snake, they break his structure. It's the first one. They get the Drake at the same time. It seems to be uncontested. Once again from IG, we already saw them walking back from base. Interesting decisions from this team right now. Perhaps a little bit disconnected from the side of Invictus Gaming, but Snake, they know what they want. They know that it was eventually going to fall down bottom lane anyway. They can out-sustain with the Nami. Kha'Zix also has the W, and he's fairly tanky with the items he has at this exact point in the game. It's only going to get exacerbated with what he's just picked up for himself on top of that.
I don't think we've seen a single Duke ultimate just yet, though.
Nope.
So as soon as he gets into a fight, that would be a sudden wake-up call for everyone on the side of Snake, realizing that he actually just doesn't take damage, as he's just completed his Spirit Visage. Is on his way to his Sunfire Cape as well, along with the Ninja Tabi. Meanwhile, Flandre is yet to finish his damage item, but he did in fact go for Sunfire Cape himself, and now we've just moved the bottom lanes to top lane.
So they know Megan's in that bush. You can see the ward below him, so there was no point in him hiding there. OQ backs away, which is how Megan's able to realize that fact. He just doesn't know where the ward is.
Yeah.
As what this does mean, though, for IG is they've matched the tempo. Snake, they get the bottom lane turret, and sometimes it's a gamble as to where they'll go. You know, it's an Ashe, can throw the arrow, be mid lane even. But not this time. They do go top rather, and IG match it. They're there on time, so there'll be no extra damage done to structures. Everything is calm and equal.
Flandre is just moving around the side. Weaver's wall popped, and Rookie has the ultimate from Duke right on top of him. OQ and Crystal were trapped in very briefly, but Snake, there's enough of reaction from both jungler and mid that IG, their play completely fizzles out.
Yeah, they were definitely just able to survive. One summoner spell was the only thing used for that. The idea is fine from IG, is now they want to try and find a pick here instead.
Snake were trying very hard to damage this tower. Rookie will clear out the minion wave, and it's a push and pull in this game, but neither the pushes nor pulls are actually dealing any real blows. They're just kind of kiting around each other at this point in time.
Yeah, and it's also Snake that are just getting advantages because they don't need to do the push and pull. It feels like the onus is with IG.
Yeah, Crystal definitely
Got him.
I mean, that's one factor that is consistent in all of Snake's games, that Crystal will get caught out at some point warding.
It's like asking who you want to win the game. If a shoutcaster says that someone's a favorite, expect that team to suddenly lose. You know, Snake, they're doing well. They're not getting caught out. Suddenly Crystal's dead. I remember that there was no flash used from, there was flash used from him before with the dive top lane, so he was an easy pick out. And Crystal notoriously does get caught out of position placing vision. This is the second set in a row where he is the one person on the team dying, and it gives IG time to work.
This will be a tower in exchange. Top tower goes down to Invictus Gaming, and it will be shared gold. It will not be shared gold. It will go all over to Marge. We'll go back to base now. So everyone is scaling up. Everyone's actually working their way towards their second items now. Which everyone has had their first items for a while. And this is farming, farming, farming. Professional Farmville game.
Lots of eggs into the Lucian basket by giving him the solo turret as well. Well, it's interesting. You just saw that on your screen. All of the worked ground from Rookie's on the left side of the lane. He's always playing towards a single side. It means that if a gank happens, there will be plenty of space on the right side to consistently throw out 5 Qs, not just the one. Means it'll do more damage. It's just interesting to watch. You know, Rookie is a fantastic Taliyah player. One of the first and best that we have seen.
It's true.
Very creative player.
Yeah, it's one of the things when Taliyah got first released that people just... Obviously, the more that people play it, the more you think about these small little interactions, like where you place down the workarounds and how you combo.
Yeah, and the first thing you learned is if you're stuck under your turret the whole time, you run out of places to use Q, because it only throws out one. And if you're pushing the whole time, the same thing applies. It's about resetting the wave that the best Taliyah players in the world are actually able to do, by not just staying the whole time under your turret, it's by pushing them and then letting them push back, resetting the wave so it's in the middle. Otherwise, you'll stop winning the lane extremely quickly.
Yeah, so you can use all of the ground, basically. Because Unraveled Earth by itself, especially when it has one rank in it, basically does nothing. Not very good as a wave clear tool by itself. Mudge and Megan have made their way to the mid lane now. We'll be clearing this one out. And, you know, from what we said at the start of the game, Rusty, when we were like, well, as soon as these teams hit level 6, we're going to see some skirmishes. We were kind of right, but mostly
They
wrong.
tried. The idea was correct, I think, there, Pulse, but they just didn't actually do it.
Yeah. A lot of poking, and the other thing that will go alongside the fact that both these two teams have a lot of damage is they have a lot of skills that are very long range. You look at the Void Spikes coming out from SOFM, the volley out from OQ, very good at spacing IG away from them.
And it's just so hard to siege for both of these teams. Taliyah's wave clear, Ari's wave clear means mid lane non-existent for trying to actually push down structures. There's a chance that this game extends just because of that fact almost alone. They've got so much sustain coming out of Crystal, so OQ and Crystal should be fine with the Ashe Nami lane wherever they're assigned towards. And you can't really push in Illusion because if he ever has culling, the threat of just using it to clear a whole wave stops your ability to actually siege those structures down. This game gets broken through potentially a Drake just because it's the easy objective to actually pick up for yourself. And there is another one up in 20 seconds.
It is Cloud. So there is a very good chance that IG say screw it, we'll just back off and take our jungle camps, take our lanes, and give it over to Snake. But at some point in time, they will want to stop giving those objectives over to the team. And Flandre still farming.
Yeah,
and you can see like a pace of the game if you just like blocked everything else and just saw the time and the farm because everyone is like on target, if not like past the clock in terms of farm.
There is a lot of CS and everybody wants to bridge towards the two items. Taliyah, Ari, they're both there. So is the Ashe, and Marge has just caught up to that position. Also Ashe arrow.
Yeah, does not hit Rookie, but here comes the tie. Flash comes out. He was predicting the charm, but it is thrown out behind his combo. Duke backing off, but he's trying to block for Rookie. Good taunt comes out. Kid caught off to the side. SOFM finds him. Duke, the rest of his health bar is quickly evaporating, and Snake will get 2 kills as they look towards mid lane.
Yeah, both teams had vision on different sides of the lane, so Snake worked through bottom. They're able to get themselves the turret that can immediately transition to the Drake. The risky decision would be the Baron, because IG had their vision set up on that side. They're able to perhaps prevent it from going down. Rookie and Marge still have a lot of threat between them. Nobody goes for the Drake, they just clear the vision. Ah well, Snake, you win some, you lose some.
Yep. Kills into nothing. No conversion here just yet.
Was good though. They used the Ash arrow, and the angle of the arrow pushes them one way. And the way that they were pushed was towards Zatai, who is able to be a big assassin threat. The fight was also split, so it was disconnected. It wasn't actually a 5-on-5, it was a 2-on-2 and a 3-on-3.
Yeah. And
Snake are able to handily win those types of skirmishes because of all the single target and assassination threat that they've got going for themselves. SOFM, Flandre, and Zatai definitely able to do work. And OQ, definitely never at risk of dying there, still has both summoners.
I also wasn't sure if Zatai mind-gamed Rookie, or Rookie mind-gamed himself. Because he definitely did flash nothing, expecting the charm to come out.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Zatai saw the flash was down, he charmed him.
Yep, and then he of course cleansed the charm. But this means Zatai has everything up, Rookie has nothing up.
Yep.
So moving into the next fight, if something happens, which we are looking at, threatening the top lane outer, Rookie has to be a little bit more careful. Mind you.
Dragon's still up, but SOFM walks face first into the brush. Full combo out from Kid and Rookie, but he's got a lot of magic resist, so he will not go down, but Kid will. Zatai under the tower. He's got Rookie in his sights, and so is OQ. He's tanking up the tower. Megan gets jumped on. SOFM is manly, but not manly enough to shrug off burning to death, so he'll die right there, but it's a 1-on-3. Trade for Snake plus the top tower. Still a big win.
The only tragedy, oh, never mind.
Fish, fish, fish! I hope you like seafood, Marge. He's got the ultimate coming in from Duke, and he's turning it around onto Flandre. Quick hop over the wall to the rest of his team, and he's good to go.
Yep, good damage under Flandre. Shen just using the ultimate then. Didn't find an opportunity, apparently, to throw it out earlier. Rookie may have lacked that one, but the Asher had already stunned him. He was definitely condemned to the death chamber. And at the same time, Kid and Rookie trying to find a pick. The idea was fine, but because they can't actually out-team fight, it was just a pick attempt. It gets turned around on them very quickly. The only tragedy for Snake is that SOFM was the one who dies, so there's no point looking at Baron. They just take the turret and let it sit.
This time it was kills into an objective, which is significantly better for Snake because they are now gaining ground on Invictus Gaming. Clearing out these wards, so the little bit that IG can muster following that play is vision around the Baron area. For now, Snake will back off, look towards their third items now. It looks like it will be a death cap from Zatai.
And it's safe to say the most important thing so far in this game has been the bottom lane for Snake is winning. They've been able to handle Invictus Gaming's bottom lane, if nothing else. You know, the occasional dive thanks to SOFM, but the reason he can dive is it has been enabled already by his bottom lane beforehand. The 2v2 winning means that when you look at IG, they have strong solo laners, but their duo lanes always hit and miss. Mechanically, they're fine, but they definitely miss the lane control in this one.
I think a bit of blame has to go the way of Kid as well, where he was very ineffectual in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game.
But definitely, if you're looking at like how IG can actually win the game, Kid didn't do enough. He misplayed for sure. SOFM had his number most of the time. That's a quickly.
There's a wall, and Megan is very much caught. He pops the ultimate on himself, but he's charmed. It was essentially a wasted ultimate there.
Yeah, good charm. Flash also wasted from him, to be perfectly honest with you. Now the Lulu is dead. The vision is still there, though, for IG. So they're okay for the moment at the Baron. The Scuttle Crab is theirs.
Not too bad. Might just clearing out these wards as well. And SOFM, of course, as per usual, trying to take these camps away from IG. And Smite comes out. Leap goes out. And SOFM will make his way out as well. So Snake still taking these small advantages.
Yeah, the mid game has looked okay, to be honest with you, this time around. Much better than what we're used to seeing from them.
Yeah, I mean, that was our main criticism of the team, that they needed to find a mid game. But when they did so well in the early game, and specifically it was SOFM, He's the one who's going to drag his team over the line.
It's a bit about, do they have a late game now, though? IG will just hold on. No doubt they have enough wave clear to get themselves through to a late game. Baron's the big determining factor that can actually break the turrets down when they try and siege.
I think the goal here from IG is to wait until their own raptors spawn and then camp the brush.
Easiest way to win against Snake, isn't it?
Yeah.
What if we set up around the raptors? SOFM will always come here.
The third big monster objective.
It's like the peanut butter on a rat trap.
Are rats attracted to peanut butter?
I think they're attracted to most things that are edible, but peanut butter is, yeah.
Oh, today I learned. Flandre. Attracted to blast plants.
So was Kid on Rengar, actually. That guy was addicted to them for sure. He was just attacking them.
So it's like every Rengar player though, it's so fun.
It's kind of like a cotton ball for them, I guess.
Can you jump on a blast plant as Rengar and then flash over it so the momentum carries you forward?
Probably can.
That would be pretty cool. Snake have started the Baron. IG do not know they have started the Baron.
Are they going to come and check?
I mean, they should. Here comes the fish, zoning fish. And Rookie is going to dive right into the pit. Release is going to put a wall up. Do we get a steal? No, we do not. SOFM, the secure kid, did die in that flurry of action. And Duke should also fall here. He's going to jump away, but he's down into the Guardian Angel. Rookie caught out as well, but he should back off the rest of his team. Meanwhile,
They're
Duke is still alive, and Flandre has to back off as Marge is providing fire support there. Meanwhile, SOFM Zatai still running down that mid lane. OQ needs to back off, and finally, Duke will bite the dust, but it took a long time for him to fall. 2 kills in the Baron. Snake exacerbate their lead.
Yeah, Duke is super tanky, but he's not going to be tanky enough to let the rest of his team do damage, because that is effectively non-existent for the side of IG. Baron started, Baron secured. They prevent Kid from getting in on the Elise, even with the Lulu ultimate to try and get him in there in time. Can't even use Repel. Just straight up dies. And this all, for me, is Zatai. He's playing the Ahri. He's not even split pushing. He's grouping up, but he's still the assassin. He's able to threaten people constantly. Rookie has to back away. He can't do damage. The charm threat was there. And then suddenly the Lucian, who is using the culling, tries to close distance and take pot shots, but it doesn't secure them anything, as this is potentially a dead Megan. There is 5 levels between Zatai and Megan.
Talk about a death brush. 1-man death brush. Add SOFM to it. Whoever walks in there is very much dead.
So IG actually just thought Snake were going top lane. It was the first wave that was going to crash, but it's only Flandre there. And he has teleport. They actually had 4 people hovering around that area just in case. As now they're still waiting. Finding out where Snake go. They can't walk out. They can't place vision. They're just left to defend inside their own base. They're just going to CLG EU the game. With no Anivia.
Yeah, not quite CLG EU, because we're not going to have an 80-minute game under our belts.
You don't know that.
I don't know that, Rusty, but I have to feel that without Ziggs or Anivia, it's not going to quite get to that, because observe Rookie's wave clear. Good, but if this was Anivia, the wave would already be gone, and so would the next one. Flandre will take the top tower. Mid tower fell. Bot tower fell. At the very least, this will be a very big gold influx. Mid. Ultimate out from Rookie will stall the push from Snake.
SOFM jumps into a wall in anguish of the fact that they can no longer siege.
And now they can again.
Yeah, the mission has been granted.
It's not quite as effective, is it, as when you're sieging and you block off the enemy team while you take the tower.
Yeah, this is actually the wave where they may even try and look to break this. SOFM's freely able to walk in. Nami still has ultimate, Ashe still has ultimate.
OQ
Never mind.
Pops the ult. Onto Marge. And it's just slow going. Bit of poke, bit of poke. OQ backs off. But
great sieging.
IG cannot step up. And that was as clean as you're going to get from Snake. Base broken. Moving on to the inhib. I'm just waiting for IG to pull the trigger and go in, because Flandre taking the top tower. Shudder dash used, so it's not going to happen for a good 8-9 seconds now. And Snake just waltzed in, picked up the inhib.
They're outranging them, plain and simple.
Go to the bottom lane. And all of these factors that we kind of jokingly talked about in the early and mid game is culminated in the fact that IG just cannot approach.
IG need to do something, though, because the game's just over.
I mean, Kid just died. He just walked up to Ari, charmed into dead.
This is too easy. This feels weird. Where's the plot twist?
Something happened this week, Rusty. I don't understand. So far, we have not had 3 games in the series. It's all been 2-0s. Duke has been fished. Okay, great. He doesn't take damage, but it's 4 versus 5 still. Ash Arrow miraculously goes through the entire team of IG. Duke misses the Shadow Dash. And that's what? 3 inhibs down. Snake back off. We'll turn all of that gold into items and look to finish the game.
I mean, that was one of the simplest sieges that I've ever seen in League of Legends competitive. They just walked into the base and said, I'll take this. And IG were like, all right, man, that's fine.
6,000.
Yeah. That was one of
Gold.
the biggest power
Baron.
plays from a Baron.
Power play. I mean, pretty much, if you're a new team trying to figure out how to siege, just watch that replay of SOFM leading his team, walking into mid, Flandry's in top, and it's just like, well, you just took all 3 inhibs, great, back off, turn that into items, finish the game.
And the funny thing is, we already mentioned this, Rookie has Boots of Swiftness. Now, the reason that he has this is because Ashe and Kha'Zix are really good at sieging. By that, I mean they will throw out the volley, they'll throw out the void spikes, and they're actually outranging most of the champions that IG have got in their disposal. Lucian, very low range, much more committal. Elise, if the cocoon's not in range, you know, it turns into spider form suddenly, and that's already too committal. The Shen needs to hit the taunt, and they're all shorter range than that of the poke and the potential siege that can come out of Snake. So if they're ever ahead, they just walk it into the mid lane, they throw out their spells until, you know, the health bars of IG are going to be low enough, and then they just take the structures down. The thing is, they took 3 of them, 3 inhibitors, and that's where it gets a little bit too much, you would think.
And March has been in a brutal, prolonged battle with these minions, but as soon as the tide turns up, he's significantly stronger than those super minions. And honestly, with 2 super minions per wave, I actually think IG would struggle to just
The minions
defeat
are going to win
those.
this. This is depressing.
Flandre steps up, pokes the tower. SOFM steps up, pokes the tower. Talia Wall will zone away at Snake for a bit. SOFM will find himself on the other side of the wall. This tower's going to fall. Zatai gets jumped on, finally by Duke, but he's good to go. He'll jump away with Spirit Rush. Arrow lands onto Rookie, but he'll back away as well. And Flandre, once again, just dipping and diving in with the Urchin Strike, and Oki's is going to finish off the game. IG, I don't know why they were trying to protect the KDAs, but Snake would just take game 1.
Actually, one of the most depressing victories, if you're IG, that you've ever had to deal with. There was no response. They were trying, but every single thing that they could try to do was either non-existent in the first place, their engage was lacking, and they were just bested at every single turn. Snake just slowly and casually meander into the base and kill the Nexus whilst IG watch.
Is that a full moon or something? I honestly do not understand what has happened this week. We have had 2 massive series upsets. This one, arguably, you could say is also an upset towards Snake, at least in game 1. But the way it happened in, actually, a near-perfect game, didn't even notice that. That was, what, 1 kill? Ridiculous.
Yep.
We haven't had that many near-perfect games. We've had 1 perfect game, another near-perfect game, and probably 2 or 3 now.
It's 4 kills. It's 1 tower.
4 kills. All right, thank God. There you go. Close enough.
Chinese paying off.
Oh, yeah, nailed it. Yeah, I was like, it actually says KDA in English.
No, it's fine.
Good
I was
job,
so
Paul.
shocked as well. I was like, what?
What?
That
Yeah.
Hooked on phonics, kicking in.
That makes sense. Well, at the very least, it wasn't that bad. But yeah, all the dragons, pretty much everything to Snake, and you pretty much hit the nail on the head there, Rusty. It was just too easy. And IG rolled over and died and just led them.
I mean, 4 members of IG did.
Apart from Rookie.
Yeah.
Rookie was trying. Rookie was 1v9 in this game.
Actually 1v9ing though. Tried so hard to carry his team. There's only so far you can carry a team when all 4 of them don't want to win at the same time.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I'm on the desk, and guys, we have a beef to grind, because you guys got a little bit intense over the Raptor camp, and I was like, I came into the producer's room, and I was like, these are the replays I want. We're going to talk about Raptor camp. I don't care who wins this game. We're going to teach something today. So Raptor camp. We're going to start the very first replay of SOFM dying over Raptor camp. Now, here's the thing. SOFM is committing to this Raptor camp because he's greedy and he likes his kill camps. But I do want to iterate the importance of this camp as he's caught out and blasted for this. Now, Raptor camp is so important. It's what